Today on the Evo Inspires podcast, I'm joined by Mike Leonard, a technology leader and VP of Engineering and Data at PetCircle, Australia's leading pet e-commerce platform. Mike has driven transformative initiatives, including a complete re-platforming of PetCircle's website. With deep expertise in cloud-native technologies, large-scale migrations, and cutting-edge e-commerce solutions, Mike's career spans leadership roles in software, infrastructure, and hardware development. He's passionate about building high-performing teams, leveraging AI to accelerate development, and creating resilient systems that power exceptional customer experiences.
Thank you very much. That was a great intro, Jordan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, indeed. We'll get straight into it. So obviously, given the re-platform of PetCircle's website recently, for companies scaling fast, legacy systems can become a bottleneck. What inspired PetCircle to take on such a major tech transformation, and what was the vision behind it, Mike?
Yeah, I think it was exactly as you said. It did become a bottleneck. I think it's easy to think that legacy systems have become a bottleneck in terms of sort of the tech itself and the scaling. Like it's Black Friday this week. That's a really important time for PetCircle and for e-com generally. But the legacy platforms kind of got through things like Black Friday pretty easily, like the peaks and the troughs and things. Tech-wise, it did scale, it looked fine. But where the bottlenecks were was really around the business. As PetCircle kind of grew as an organization, we got more and more people working at PetCircle, more teams. Each of those teams had more ambition and things they wanted to do. The tech couldn't really deliver and enable those teams. It was getting stuck there. Someone wanted to tweak a tiny bit of functionality on the site. It'd be like, no worries, raise a ticket for that. And get a ticket in the backlog, that might take a long time to get to. Even the very, very small things could take way longer because of the tech debt built up over kind of 12, 13 years. It was just very, very slow to do change. On top of that, it was kind of about the same time we're starting to think about the future and where we wanted to go. We really wanted to go down a personalization path and really bring personalization to our customers. So we find that something like 85% of all of our customers just have one pet. But if you take a look at our old website, you'd see a mixture of everything. There'd be dog, there'd be cat, there'd be bird, there'd be rabbit, there'd be horse. We had to kind of cover all bases because there was no personalization in there. Trying to bring personalization to that legacy tech platform was going to be almost impossible. So the vision, kind of where we wanted to go and have really deeply personalized experiences where we're the expert. We want to have a massive range at PetCircle. That having a massive range is one thing, but you better show that to the customers and get them finding the products they want. Now, if you're always presenting all the different animals to all the customers, rather than getting just the subpart of the range in front of them they want to see, that becomes very, very difficult. So trying to take all that personalization, bring that to the old platform was impossible to do. So that became a bottleneck in just terms of our vision and where we wanted to go. And there's a lot of other things as well, which you don't think about so much, I guess, but SEO was a big one. And so we were falling behind in SEO, and it wasn't because we were getting worse at it. We were just staying the same, and all of our competitors were getting better. They had more modern platforms. They're investing more in that space. And we were just kind of staying stagnant. And whilst we're stagnant, that just means you drop down as the competitors move up. And so that became a real issue for us, as SEO is hugely important for PetCircle and online.
Love that. Great answer. And I suppose then from the modernization, what was the biggest challenges you faced during it, and what advice would you give to other tech leaders who may be tackling similar projects?
Yeah, it's a huge project. I think like the biggest challenge is that there's challenges all the way through. I think there's you go right back to the initial early stages of a project like this, and there's the vendor selection and which platforms you're going to use, what agencies are going to help you build them, like all this kind of stuff. There's even challenges there. Like for a company like PetCircle, this was by far the biggest project we've ever taken on. So how do we evaluate those things? How do we get comfortable with the spend? I think it was the biggest spend in our history we'd ever done on a software project. So there's even just going through those motions and kind of figuring out, okay, how do we even tackle this? Who should we speak to? How do we get comfortable this is the right path forward? How do we educate people in the business about the change? How do we get comfortable about the cost of it and knowing this is the right thing to do? So those kind of really early challenges, which are tricky and kind of needed to overcome. I think we were lucky in our case, and this wouldn't be true for everyone, but I think it was fairly obvious it needed to be done. So it was really just about, trying to be diligent as we go through that process, make sure we're, reference checks, and we're doing everything. It's not a one horse race. We're going to multiple vendors, trying to really have a well thought out process for selecting that, and then going through getting the selection, and everyone was kind of on board. But then as we go through the project, I think one of the biggest challenges we had is we wanted to move pretty fast. So we did move pretty fast with the agency we were using to help us build it. I think when we first spoke to them, they came in and said, oh yeah, for a project of this size, we normally spend about 3 months doing discovery. And we said, you've got 2 weeks, because we wanted to move quite quickly. But I think there's a balance in there, and I don't know if we quite got it right, but we went quite quickly, and it meant we took a 13-year-old website, completely rebuilt it from the ground up in 18 months, and got it live. I think that's a fairly impressive delivery in itself. But we did rush certain things like that initial discovery. So as we were going through, there was constant challenges of knowing what to build, how we should build things, kind of a bit of a building the plane while you're flying it, as we didn't have those upfront requirements. I think we naively thought that this was primarily a replatforming project. We're just going from a legacy tech stack to a modern one. Therefore, the requirements are pretty simple. If you want to know what the requirements for the new PetCircle website are, just go to petcircle.com.au, take a look at what's there, and just build the same thing. But that doesn't speak to all the things that are happening behind the scenes. There's emails and how data flows through systems. There's weird and wonderful edge cases like birdseed that can't be transferred across certain state lines, and like all this kind of business logic that's not obvious at all when you go there. And we didn't really have that stuff nailed when we started, so we're having to figure it out. I think we eventually caught up, but I think in terms of piece of advice, spending a bit longer than 2 weeks on discovery for a major project like this would definitely be something I'd recommend, and trying to nail that. But having said that, we did get to the end, moved pretty quickly, and got it live. And we've had some teething issues, but nothing too major. So I think that's still a pretty good outcome, and I think finding that balance between how fast do you want to go versus kind of taking the time to write everything down, because I'm sure even if we spend 3 months up front, I'm sure there'll still be things we found as we went going through there.
Yeah, no doubt, and yeah, it seems to be very successful so far. So well done on that. Question 3, AI is evolving fast. How do you see it shaping customer experience and internal operations at PetCircle over the next year?
Yeah, so I think those two things are really important to talk about. Definitely think of AI at the moment in two kind of main pieces. One is the business and how people's day-to-day can be made more efficient, and we can leverage AI there. And then the other part is how do we bring great AI features to our customers and really help our customers in that space. I think breaking both of those down in the kind of back office internal kind of use cases, part of it is access to tools, education. We've got Gemini, we have Google Workspace primarily at PetCircle, so everyone's got access to Gemini across the whole business. So that's kind of the default one. And then paired with that, we're running internal sort of lunch and learn sessions where we're holding sessions on how to get the most out of Gemini, prompt engineering, things like that to help our staff understand how to use these tools. I think we've got a fairly kind of liberal policy on AI where we're encouraging the people to use whatever tools they want to make their life easier. If they find something new that's exciting, go for that. It goes through like kind of a light review process just to make sure that it's safe, secure, those kinds of things. We're not bringing in tools that we're giving away data to, or we're not duplicating tools, that kind of thing. But we're trying to have a fairly open policy. In the engineering space, it's quite broad. Everyone's got access to Cursor, which I think is fairly common across organizations at the moment, but we've also got some engineers on Claude Code. Google's just released anti-gravity, and we're playing with that. We're trying a lot of things. I think breadth is a really important piece there, because it's almost every month there's a new model out in the market or a new bit of tech that's better than the previous one. And so I think just playing with it and trying to keep up and seeing what works and what doesn't is really important. Then on the customer side of things, As I said, the personalization is really important. It's getting the right products in front of the right customers for their pet, matching the needs of the pet, their specific health concerns, then matching a product that addresses those health concerns with that pet. That's a really key thing. And it's really, how do we get really, really specific on these matches? It's not just kind of, hey, this product's recommended for you, but it's this product's recommended for you, and here's the why. And how can we leverage AI to bring some of that why to life behind it? So they're really specific recommendations, and we're educating the customer as they go so they can care for their pet better. It's being clear on when a particular product is a really great match for a pet, but also I think the opposite. Not everything's just about making a sale. It's also about genuinely trying to help pet parents and pet for their animals the best they can. It's being an expert in the field, leaning into the fact we're a pet vertical and not just an Amazon that sells everything. So how do we become the expert in pet, the expert in our product catalog, and also tell customers when something's not appropriate? Hey, don't buy this thing. This is not right for your pet, but have you considered something else over here? So there's a lot of features around that space, and really trying to match up products with pets and bring a really personalized experience to customers. And then a piece of that, we have a team of vets on staff as well. And so it's also bringing some of that vet advice to life on the site as well. So customers can go there, they can get vet advice, they can see, kind of chat with the product and see why a product is great for their pet. Yeah. And a big part of that is AI is obviously pretty important. It's being used in a lot of places. We want to better make it easy for our engineers at Pet Circle to build these AI experiences for customers without necessarily having to be an expert in every facet of how AI works and how you monitor it and make it safe and all this kind of thing. So we're also at the moment investing in an internal AI platform, which developers can then use, and a lot of these things are taken care of for you.
Yeah, really exciting. You're really on the ball with the AI internally and also for the customer side, because I think, as you say, every month there's a new AI tool coming out. It's hard to keep up to date with it, and it's exciting but also scary, because in such a short period of time, I don't think how fast AI has evolved and how so you probably see this more than me in terms of seeing those rapid evolvements. But yeah, really exciting. It sounds like obviously everything's going well internally, but also then for the customer experience, there's projects and agents being worked on. So yeah, exciting times.
Yeah, exactly. We had a good example of that actually, where we're using quite a lot of, for some of the assets on our website, because we're going very, very personalized now. Sort of going back to the first question on bottlenecks, it used to be that engineering was a bottleneck for everything. Now we're in a world where potentially certain places our marketing team is a bottleneck, because the platform can support all this personalization. But whereas we used to have one homepage that everyone saw, now we've got like a dozen different homepages, one for each different type of animal, one for whether you're logged in, logged out. Like there's a whole bunch of different things there. So they've got to create these assets. So we actually built an internal tool for helping generate some AI imagery and do some of this stuff a bit easier, and personalized emails. But that was a relatively short project. But even in the space of building that, we did an initial proof of concept, which was using Google's Imagen 2 for generating images. That had really great results. As we started building, Google deprecated that, and Imagen 3 came out. Imagen 3 had worse results somehow. And then just as we were about to launch, Nano Banana came out, and that had even better results. So that was a short project that kind of changed 3 times for the other places.
Yeah, it is, and it's sometimes you could say it's exciting. A lot of people also say it's scary, because how quick we're seeing it. We could talk all day about the future of AI and what's going to come, but yeah, we'll stick to the podcast for now. So throughout your career of leadership and recent roles, Mike, how do you keep engineers engaged and motivated through periods of rapid change? Like, is there any certain leadership practices that have worked best for you, or maybe haven't worked for you, or what? Yeah,
I think it's a difficult one. I think especially that project we went through, which was massive change, it was a complete change in tech stack. We moved away from a predominantly Java tech stack as well to a TypeScript one. So it wasn't just the tech stack change, but it was like the programming language, it was the fundamentals, new tools in there, whole new website. It's a lot of change. And I think some people deal with that better than others. Some people thrive in that and they absolutely love it, and they want more of that. Others, they prefer a bit more of the norm and kind of sticking to pace. I don't know if there's a one size fits all for for these kind of situations. But I think a couple of things that worked really well is, lean into the excitement that there's a new stack here. All that tech debt that you hate dealing with and all those bugs, that's going away. We get through this period, and you had this amazing new tech stack to work with and use, and it's a fantastic thing. It's also a case that, hey, put the extra in right now, because whatever you put in now, you're going to get out of it, because we're building something brand new. Like if you build it the way you want to build it now, that's going to stay here for the foreseeable future. So that's really important. I think for those, it's a hard push. There was some long weeks, there were some long hours. It was just high stress to just constantly, hey, we need to hit the deadlines, get this going. It's a high stress environment. I don't deny that for a second. But I think one of the things that was really important was, keep the team together, but also constant reminder that this isn't forever. We get this project, we get it released, we get it done, and then we're past that, and we've got this great new stack to work on. We're not stuck in this state where it's super high pressure forever. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that can work in that kind of environment for too long of a period. You get burnt out. But just making sure that we kind of knew when the end was going to be, what things looked like beyond as well. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, it's going to end in a month, but this is how we're thinking about it post that as well, how things should look. So that's really important to kind of keep people motivated is one thing, but I think it's also just the light at the end of the tunnel. And working on that. But I think a new tech stack, I mean, in my experience, good engineers like working on the hard problems, like working with modern tech stacks, like having something good to sink their teeth into, working with other people that can also solve hard problems. So having that new tech stack, introducing new technology, giving them a bit of freedom as well to try things out. And yes, this is a new platform, there's new tech here. Have some freedom, make your own decisions.
Yeah, no, I love that. And as a recruiter, and for someone who's worked on those jobs, selling that challenge is something I love doing. It's a dream for me, working on roles like that, because you get the right people for that right role. And I think obviously that then links into the culture of Hidden Pet Circle, and obviously the culture under yourself as well. So no, love that. And obviously from a industry standpoint, getting the right engineers and top tier engineers that are in high demand, how can companies outside the big tech giants stand out and attract the right talent? How do you attract the right talent into Pet Circle?
It is difficult, especially at the moment. I think hiring is really, really tough. I think part of it, and definitely kind of where we're headed, is we're a pure online retailer. We're not big tech, but we are tech. So really trying to lean into that, have a clear vision on, around the personalization and some of these AI features as well. There's some genuine kind of cutting edge and difficult challenges to solve here. Get the word out about that, sell kind of people that are applying for jobs on some of that vision. There's some great problems to work on. I think strong engineers like to work with other strong engineers and like to work on those hard problems, as I said. So helping sell that. Talk about what Pet Circle's doing, trying to be a bit more transparent, and trying to be just even a little bit more active on LinkedIn. Just promote some of the things we're doing. We are a pure online retailer. We 100% digital. That gives us a lot of freedom. I think especially, it's not just big tech, but I think in retail as well. I think a lot of people think of retail and think Pet Circle is just retail, and therefore it's stores and it's just like point of sale devices, and the website's kind of an afterthought. That's not our role at all. We're very much, our website is our product. It's very important to us to get right, to invest in, do some exciting things, and marry that up. Great technical problems for engineers to work on, which are exciting, but also those technical problems deliver great value for our customers.
Definitely. Yeah, exciting times. And as you say, the right people will want to work on those challenges and we'll get out of bed. That's what gets them out of the bed in the morning. Well, Mike, I think that's the end of our questions. Thank you very much for your time today and your insights and your journey. I really enjoyed this chat, and I have no doubt other people will too.
Yeah, no worries. And thank you very much for having me. It's a really great chat as well.